What are retirement strategies for individuals? Welcome to Taxevity, where you get insights from insiders, our many clients and friends. I'm Pramod Sharma, your actuary at Taxevity. I help people transfer financial risks with life and health insurance. Our guest is Dean Paley. Dean, what do you do when you're not being interviewed?
Well, I run a traditional accounting practice where we do notice to reader financial statements. We do corporate tax work, tax planning for businesses and individuals. But I'm also a certified financial planner where we do fee-only financial planning. We do retirement income strategies for saving for retirement, for living in retirement. We'll do estate planning, and we do some investment consulting as well.
During our working years, we're saving money for retirement. We have some non-registered, we've got registered, various sources, and then it's that day where it's time to retire. We've got these pools. Where do we start drawing down the money?
Well, the first place we're going to start is with our spending habits. So we call this a spending goal. You want to understand not only your day-to-day living expenses throughout retirement for things such as groceries, property taxes, and general living expenses, but also for other lifestyle goals. So if you're going to do some travel, or perhaps you have birthdays, Christmases, weddings of children, we want to try to capture all those and the timing of them during your retirement years.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that people are generally good at knowing what their spending patterns will be in retirement?
Most people have an idea of what their spending patterns might be. And as long as we have an idea, we can try to affix a value to it just to get an idea of really the amount of income they think they're going to need in retirement.
Mm-hmm. And are there things that surprise them about their retirement income needs?
Oftentimes, I guess I would say oftentimes during retirement, it's the first few years that there's a lot more spending than in the later years. Some things that will surprise some people will be things like unexpected expenses, such as cars or, say, the death of somebody having to travel unexpectedly. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, people have a general idea of what they believe their spending goals will be.
Okay, so you've helped them establish a baseline and look at some sensitivities.
Yes.
And now it's a matter of figuring out where to get the money. What would you suggest they do?
Well, the first thing that they can do is, the first thing that they are going to do is to take the income that they can't avoid. So income you can't avoid will be things like your old age security and your Canada pension plan, but it'll also be pensions if you receive those, and just interest and dividends that are taxable.
What happens if we need more money than we're able to get from sources that we must draw upon?
So if we need more money after we've received the income we can't avoid, the first place we'd want to take those funds from would be from our non-registered funds. So we'd want to begin selling stocks and bonds, but only enough to trigger what we need for income. And we would continue that strategy until the non-registered funds are depleted. At that point, then the next step would be to move into taking additional RSP or RIF funds. So in this case, if you're receiving your RIF minimum and all of the other income you can't avoid, you would then dip into those funds. And then the last one, of course, would be the TFSA.
Okay, and why do you pick this particular sequence? Because I've heard other people talk about drawing down your RSPs and melting them down, or accessing your TFSA first. You're suggesting we start with non-registered funds.
Yes, it's all about the deferral of tax. So when we follow this strategy, we're trying to defer the triggering of high tax items first. Now, we'll have to ignore the TFSA for a second because there is no tax in that pool. But by taking the funds from the non-registered, you're taking typically them at lower amounts. So you're taking capital gains or losses to feed income needs. So you're taking a low amount of tax. When those are depleted, then you're going to take the registered funds. But by leaving the registered funds alone as long as possible, you're creating more of a deferral strategy over time. Once those funds, if they even are depleted, then you take the tax-free funds. What we found over time is if you follow this basic strategy, that on death, on an after-tax basis, despite maybe having a large amount of retirement assets, you may have actually paid less tax over your lifetime.
What's your key message for the people watching?
It's really to have a financial plan, to make sure that you've accounted for your spending habits and to make sure that you don't run out of money.
Thanks very much. What's the best way for people to reach you?
They can reach me at the office at 289-288-1206, or they can visit my website at www.deanpaley.com.
Thanks for dropping by.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for Tea at Taxevity. The Taxevity Insurance Advisory helps you understand insurance and bridges gaps in your coverage. There's no premium for peace of mind. How healthy is your insurance?